The Stretford End roared, echoing with the passion of generations. This was more than just a football ground, it was a cathedral of hope, a place where dreams were born and sometimes broken, a sea of red, a chorus of hope, thousands of voices united in anticipation. Every chant, every song carried the weight of history and the promise of glory. Old Trafford, a cauldron of anticipation, stood ready under the floodlights. The energy was electric, the tension almost palpable as kickoff approached. The 2024-25 season beckoned, a new chapter in the Manchester United saga. The players emerged, each step heavy with expectation, each face set with determination. The air crackled with expectation. Every supporter, young and old, felt the weight of what was to come. Could this be the year? Could Ten Hag be the one to restore United's glory? The questions lingered, whispered in every corner of the stadium. The fans, starved of true dominance, dared to dream once more. Their belief, fragile yet fierce, filled the night air. The ghosts of legends lingered: Best, Charlton, Robson, Keane, Ferguson. Their shadows stretched across the pitch, reminders of what once was. Their legacy, a burden and an inspiration, challenged the new generation to rise above the ordinary. The current crop, tasked with upholding a legacy, with returning United to its perch. They knew the world was watching, waiting for a sign of resurgence. The weight of history rested heavily on their shoulders, every stride a test of character and resolve. But this season felt different, a tangible shift in the air, a sense that change was not just possible, but inevitable. New signings brought fresh hope, a renewed sense of purpose. The squad was evolving, hungry for success and eager to prove themselves. A manager, backed by the board, seemingly on the cusp of something special. The pieces were falling into place and belief was building. The Premier League title, a distant dream for too long, felt tantalizingly within reach, or so they thought. The journey ahead would test every ounce of their resolve. The summer had brought a wave of optimism to Old Trafford. After a turbulent season, hope returned to the red half of Manchester. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the city itself was holding its breath for what was to come. Over €200 million spent on strengthening the squad. The board had finally loosened the purse strings, determined to restore United's place among Europe's elite. The marquee arrival, Lenny Yoro, a French defensive prodigy, tipped to be the next Rio Ferdinand. His composure and maturity belied his age, and fans dreamed of a new defensive era. Noussair Mazraoui, a versatile Moroccan international, added steel and experience. His ability to play across the back line promised tactical flexibility and depth. Ten Hag, entering his third season, exuded a quiet confidence. He had weathered storms before, and now, with a squad shaped in his image, he looked ready to silence the doubters. His vision, a high-intensity, possession-based game, seemed to be taking shape. Training sessions crackled with energy, and the players responded to his demands with renewed hunger. The pre-season tour had yielded promising results. The mood was buoyant, with new signings settling in, and the team showing flashes of brilliance. "We're building something special here," Ten Hag proclaimed, his Dutch accent thick with conviction. His words echoed through the press room and into the hearts of supporters. "The fans deserve success, and we're determined to deliver." The promise was bold, but it was exactly what the faithful needed to hear. His words resonated with the United faithful. The bond between club and supporters felt stronger than ever, united by a shared dream. The Premier League title seemed a genuine possibility. For the first time in years, belief outweighed doubt. A top-four finish, a bare minimum. Anything less would be seen as failure, given the investment and ambition. The Champions League, a stage United were destined to grace once more. The anthem, the lights, the drama. Old Trafford was ready to welcome Europe's best. The future, for the first time in years, shimmered with possibility. Dreams of glory danced in the minds of players and fans alike as a new chapter began. The early season optimism evaporated with alarming speed. A disjointed, lackluster start. Draws against mid-table opposition, a humiliating 4-0 drubbing at the hands of a resurgent Arsenal. The defence, supposedly bolstered by Yoro's arrival, looked worryingly porous. Injuries began to bite. Yoro, the defensive linchpin, was sidelined with a long-term injury. Rashford, once the darling of Old Trafford, endured a dramatic loss of form. Ten Hag's tactics, lauded in pre-season, were found wanting. whispers of discontent began to circulate around Old Trafford. The board, initially patient, started to apply pressure. Ten Hag, his calm demeanour replaced by a furrowed brow, cut an increasingly frustrated figure on the touchline. The nadir arrived in December. A limp 2-1 defeat to West Ham, a microcosm of United's woes, proved to be the final straw. Ten Hag was sacked. The dream, once so vivid, lay in tatters. Into the breach stepped Ruben Amorim, a young Portuguese manager with a burgeoning reputation. A disciple of the pressing game, a believer in youth, Amorim arrived with a clear vision and a point to prove. "I'm not here to make up the numbers," Amorim declared, his eyes burning with ambition. "This club needs to be challenging for titles, and that's what I intend to do." His impact was immediate. A switch to a 3-4-3 formation, a renewed emphasis on defensive solidity. The results, however, remained inconsistent. Glimpses of promise, a hard-fought draw against Liverpool, a spirited victory over Tottenham, were interspersed with frustrating defeats. The season, it seemed, was destined to meander to a disappointing conclusion. But football, as they say, is a funny old game. Amidst the turmoil, a beacon of hope emerged. Amad Diallo, the Ivorian winger, blossomed under Amorim's guidance. His pace, trickery and eye for goal injected much-needed dynamism into United's attack. Amad is a special talent, Amorim enthused. He's got the potential to be a world-class player. Diallo's emergence coincided with the resurgence of another academy graduate, Kobbie Mainoo. The young midfielder, a tenacious ball winner with an impressive passing range, provided much-needed steel and creativity in the middle of the park. Their performances provided a silver lining to an otherwise cloudy season. In contrast, Rashford's decline continued. His struggles culminated in a training ground bust-up with Amorim. Once the golden boy, Rashford's future at Old Trafford looked uncertain. Amorim's tactical imprint became increasingly evident as the season wore on. The 3-4-3 formation, initially met with skepticism, began to bear fruit. United looked more compact, more organised, more difficult to break down. The emphasis shifted from possession-based football to a more direct counter-attacking approach. The fullbacks, Diogo Dalot and Tyrell Malacia, were given license to bomb forward and support the attack. Bruno Fernandes, deployed in a deeper role, dictated the tempo with his incisive passing range. The transformation wasn't always seamless, but it was evident that Amorim was instilling a new identity, a winning mentality. A dramatic 2-1 victory over Manchester City at the Etihad, with Diallo grabbing a brace in the dying minutes, provided a tantalising glimpse of what this United team could achieve. The 2024-2025 season will not be remembered fondly by Manchester United fans. It was a campaign marked by inconsistency, frustration, and a sense that the club was still searching for its identity in the post-Ferguson era. A sixth-place finish in the Premier League, far below the club's lofty expectations, and a disappointing group stage exit in the Champions League left supporters disheartened and questioning the direction of the team. Yet, amidst the wreckage, there were reasons for optimism. The FA Cup triumph, a shining moment in an otherwise turbulent season, was a tactical masterclass against Manchester City, a reminder of what this team could achieve when everything clicked. It offered a tangible reward for Amorim's methods and a glimpse of a brighter future under his leadership. The emergence of Diallo and Mainoo, two young stars who seized their opportunities on the biggest stage, was proof that the academy remained a hotbed of talent, continuing the club's proud tradition of developing future stars. This season has been a roller coaster, Amorim reflected. But we've shown character, we've unearthed some gems, and we've learned valuable lessons along the way. The foundations for something special had been laid, with a renewed sense of unity and purpose within the squad. As the 2025-2026 season dawned, there was a sense of cautious optimism in the air, a feeling that change was finally on the horizon. Amorim, now firmly backed by the board and trusted with the club's future, had been given the time and resources to rebuild, bringing in fresh faces and new ideas to Old Trafford. The squad, bolstered by some astute summer signings, looked stronger, hungrier and more determined to restore the club's former glory. The fans, their faith restored by glimpses of progress and the promise of a new era, dared to dream once more. The theatre of dreams, after years of slumber, was ready to awaken, and hope had returned to Old Trafford.